6 hours after I discovered the truth, I canceled everything. The family vacation to Europe we'd been planning for months, the hotel reservations, the flight tickets, all gone with 3 phone calls. Michael thought he was too sick to travel, but apparently not too sick to kiss my best friend on our doorstep. The doorbell camera he installed last month for security had captured it all. Him pressing Lisa against our front door, her hands tangled in his hair, both of them laughing like teenagers. The timestamp showed yesterday at 2 p.m., exactly when he texted me that his fever was getting worse and he needed to rest. I sat in our living room, laptop open, methodically dismantling our shared life. Bank transfers, credit card cancellations, insurance changes. Each click felt like removing another chain. The kids were at his mother's house for the week, giving us time to recover from Michael's mysterious illness. Perfect timing, really. My phone buzzed with another text from him upstairs. Feeling awful, honey. Maybe some soup later? I typed back, of course. Rest up. The irony wasn't lost on me. The man who installed cameras to watch our house had no idea he was being watched. Lisa had been my maid of honor, my confidant, the person I called when Michael and I fought. She knew about every crack in our marriage because I'd told her myself. I opened our joint account statement. Interesting. $500 at a jewelry store last Tuesday. Another $300 at that expensive restaurant downtown Thursday night. All on days when Michael was supposedly working late on the Peterson project. The doorbell chimed, displaying Lisa's face on my phone screen. She looked nervous, glancing around before pressing the button again. I watched her through the app, her perfectly manicured finger hovering over the bell. Sarah? I know you're home. We need to talk. I set the phone down and continued typing. Flight cancellation. Confirmed. Hotel reservation. Cancelled. Travel insurance claim. Filed for sudden illness. The irony was delicious. Sarah, please. Open the door. 20 minutes passed. She finally left, but not before looking directly into the camera with an expression I'd never seen before. Desperation mixed with something else. Fear, maybe? Michael appeared in the doorway, wrapped in his bathrobe, face flushed with what I now knew was guilt, not fever. Who was that at the door? Lisa. She wanted to check on you since you've been so sick. His face went pale, actually pale this time. What did you tell her? Nothing. I didn't answer. Relief flooded his features. Poor Michael. If only he knew that sometimes the best response is no response at all. That evening, I moved into the guest room. When he asked why, I cited his contagious condition. Can't be too careful with these mysterious illnesses that come and go so conveniently. My phone lit up with notifications. Lisa had sent 17 messages in the past hour. We need to talk. I can explain everything. Please don't do anything crazy. Michael is confused right now. You don't understand the situation. The situation. As if adultery were some complex mathematical equation requiring explanation. I screenshotted every message and saved them to a folder labeled evidence, right next to the video files from our smart doorbell system. Friday morning brought a knock at my office door. Michael stood there with flowers and a hangdog expression, playing the part of the recovering patient making an effort. Thought I'd surprise you for lunch. My coworkers smiled indulgently. Such a devoted husband, bringing flowers to his wife's workplace while still recovering from illness. That's sweet, but I'm buried in the Morrison campaign. Rain check. His jaw tightened almost imperceptibly. Michael hated being dismissed, especially publicly. Come on, Sarah. I'm feeling better. We should celebrate. Celebrate your recovery? I'd rather wait until you're completely healthy. Wouldn't want you to have a relapse. Karen from accounting giggled. Sarah's always so practical. Michael left without the flowers. Saturday brought the first real confrontation. I was in the kitchen when he appeared, no longer pretending to be sick. We need to discuss the vacation cancellations. What's to discuss? You were too ill to travel. I'm feeling better now. We could reschedule. The travel insurance requires a 2-week recovery period. Doctor's orders. What doctor? I never saw a doctor. I looked up from my coffee. Exactly. The silence stretched between us like a tightrope. Michael's hands clenched and unclenched at his sides. Sarah, what's going on here? You tell me. You're the one with the mysterious illness that prevents European vacations but allows afternoon exercise. His face went white. I don't know what you mean. Don't you? I pulled out my phone and opened the doorbell app. With a few taps, I had yesterday's footage queued up. Michael's eyes fixed on the screen, watching himself press Lisa against our door. Modern technology is amazing, isn't it? High definition, cloud storage, automatic alerts. You really did a thorough job with the security system. He lunged for the phone. I stepped back, sliding it into my pocket. That's not what it looks like. Really? What does it look like? She was upset. I was comforting her. With your tongue. Michael's shoulders sagged. Sarah, please. Let me explain. Explain what? How you've been lying about being sick. How you spent $800 on dates while I've been working overtime to pay for a vacation you never intended to take. Or how my best friend has been sleeping with my husband. It's not like that. Then what is it like, Michael? He sat down heavily at the kitchen table. It just happened. Lisa was going through her divorce. She needed someone to talk to, and things got complicated. When did it start? 2 months ago. Maybe 3. Before the vacation planning. Before the doorbell camera. Before any of his recent illnesses. How long were you going to keep this up? He looked at me with something resembling hope. It doesn't have to change anything between us. Lisa understands it's just temporary. The audacity was breathtaking. Temporary. Until she gets back on her feet financially. Then things can go back to normal. Normal. Sarah, you're overreacting. This happens in marriages. We can work through this. I stared at him across our kitchen table, this man I'd shared 8 years with, and felt nothing but cold clarity. You're right. We can work through this. Starting with you finding somewhere else to stay. You can't kick me out of my own house. Watch me. That afternoon, while Michael was at Lisa's apartment, probably strategizing, I changed the security codes he'd installed. Every camera, every smart lock, every motion sensor. His own system, now completely under my control. The irony was perfect. The man who tried to watch everything had lost the ability to see anything. Sunday morning brought Lisa to my door again. This time, I answered. Sarah, thank God. We need to talk about Michael. What about him? He's staying at my place, but this is crazy. You're breaking up your family over nothing. Nothing. A silly mistake. Men do this. You forgive them and move on. Lisa stood on my doorstep, designer handbag clutched in her manicured hands, talking about forgiveness like she was discussing the weather. How long have you been planning this, Lisa? Planning what? Don't play dumb. You've been my closest friend for 5 years. You knew every problem Michael and I had because I told you. You gave me advice about our marriage while sleeping with my husband. Her composure cracked slightly. It wasn't planned. It just happened. When? Does it matter? It matters to me. Fine. It started after your anniversary party. You went to bed early with a headache, remember? Michael and I talked, and one thing led to another. My anniversary party. The night I'd been so grateful to have friends who stayed to help clean up while my head pounded. You planned the Europe trip knowing you'd convince him not to go. Sarah, you're being paranoid. Am I? You're the one who suggested he see a doctor about his stress levels. You're the one who said maybe a vacation was too much pressure right now. Lisa's face went pale. You're twisting everything. And you've been twisting my marriage. Michael loves you. This doesn't change that. You're right. It doesn't change that he loves me. It proves he doesn't respect me. Lisa's mask finally slipped completely. You know what your problem is, Sarah? You're boring. You go to bed at 10, you pack healthy lunches, you plan everything to death. Michael needs excitement. And you provide that? I provide what you can't. Apparently. But here's what you can't provide, Lisa. I pulled out my phone and opened our banking app. Financial stability. I'm the primary account holder. I'm the one with the steady income and good credit. You're recently divorced with maxed out credit cards and a job that barely covers your rent. Her eyes widened as she realized where this was going. Michael's been paying for your dinners, your jewelry, probably your rent. But that money comes from our joint account. My money. You can't prove anything. Actually, I can. Every transaction is documented. Every restaurant charge, every gift purchase. All during times when Michael claimed to be working late or too sick to go out. Lisa's hands shook as she clutched her purse. What do you want? I want you to understand something. Michael isn't leaving me for you. He's using you. And when this falls apart, and it will, you'll have nothing. No husband, no money, and no best friend to call for advice. You're wrong. Am I? Ask yourself this. If Michael loved you, why hasn't he filed for divorce? Why is he trying to keep both of us? Lisa's face crumpled. Because it's complicated. No, Lisa. It's simple. He wants his cake and to eat it too. But I'm done being the bakery. That evening, Michael returned with his own key, forgetting I'd changed the locks. I watched through the doorbell camera as he stood on our porch, key sliding uselessly in the lock. He rang the bell. I ignored it. He called my phone. I let it ring. Finally, he started pounding on the door. Sarah, this is ridiculous. Open the door. The neighbor's lights started turning on. Michael, realizing he was creating a scene, stopped pounding and pressed the doorbell repeatedly. My phone buzzed with a text. I'm not leaving until we talk. I replied. Then you'll be there a while. By Tuesday, the messages had shifted from angry to pleading. Michael had spent 2 nights at Lisa's apartment, and apparently, the shine was wearing off. Sarah, please. I made a mistake. Let's work this out. I miss you. Lisa doesn't mean anything. The kids need their father. I'll do anything to fix this. I saved every message. Documentation for the divorce lawyer I'd consulted Monday morning. Wednesday brought an interesting development. Michael appeared at my office again, but this time he wasn't alone. His mother, Jane, stood beside him wearing her best, disappointed church lady expression. Sarah, dear, we need to talk. My coworkers suddenly found their paperwork fascinating as Jane's voice carried across the office. Of course, Mrs. Mitchell. Should we step outside? We found a quiet corner in the building's lobby. Michael hung back while his mother took the lead. Sarah, I understand you're upset, but this family can't survive a divorce. The family should have considered that before Michael started cheating. Men make mistakes. It's our job as wives to forgive them. I stared at this woman who'd raised the man currently trying to manipulate me into accepting adultery. Mrs. Mitchell, with respect, Michael is 35 years old. Old enough to make his own choices and face the consequences. Think about the children. They need stability. They need honest parents. You're being selfish, Sarah. The word hit like a slap. Selfish. For refusing to accept being cheated on, lied to, and manipulated. You're right, Mrs. Mitchell. I am being selfish. I'm putting my own well-being first for once. Revolutionary concept. Jane's face hardened. If you go through with this divorce, you'll get nothing. Michael has rights too. Actually, he doesn't. Not to my house, my car, or my bank accounts. We'll see what the court says about adultery and financial deception. Michael finally stepped forward. Sarah, Mom's right. Let's think about this practically. I have been thinking practically. That's why I've already consulted a lawyer. Mother and son exchanged glances. This wasn't going according to their script. What lawyer? Michael demanded. Jennifer Walsh. She specializes in high-conflict divorces. Apparently, adultery cases are her favorite. You can't afford a lawyer like that. Actually, I can. I've been the primary earner for 3 years. Remember? Thursday brought the nuclear option. I arrived home to find Michael sitting at our kitchen table with Lisa beside him. They'd somehow gotten in through the back door, the one lock I'd forgotten to change. Breaking and entering now? This is my house too, Michael said. Not anymore. Lisa cleared her throat. Sarah, we've been thinking. Maybe we can all work something out. All of us. Some couples find alternative arrangements work better than traditional marriage. I stared at them in disbelief. Are you suggesting what I think you're suggesting? It could solve everyone's problems, Michael said. You get to keep the family structure, I get to be happy, and Lisa gets stability. And what do I get out of this arrangement? Security. The kids get to keep their family. Nobody has to start over. Just to be clear, you're asking me to accept your girlfriend as a permanent addition to our marriage. It's not unheard of, Lisa added. Some cultures, this isn't some cultures. This is Texas. And I'm not sharing my husband like a timeshare property. Michael leaned forward. Sarah, be reasonable. Divorce will destroy everything we've built. You destroyed it when you started sleeping with my best friend. That was a mistake. No, Michael. A mistake is forgetting to pick up milk. This was a choice. Multiple choices over months. Lisa tried a different approach. Sarah, we could all be friends. Sisters even. Sisters don't sleep with each other's husbands. But we could move past that. I looked at these two people sitting at my kitchen table, seriously proposing that I accept infidelity as a lifestyle choice. Get out. Sarah, both of you. Get out of my house. You're being unreasonable. Michael stood up. We're trying to find a solution. I found my solution. It's called divorce. Fine. But remember, you chose this. When the kids ask why their family fell apart, you can explain that mommy was too proud to compromise. After they left, I sat alone in my kitchen and cried for the first time since discovering the affair. Not for Michael or even for our marriage, but for the years I'd wasted believing I was building something real with someone honest. Friday brought unexpected visitors. Tom Johnson from next door appeared at my front door with his wife, Margaret. Sarah, we couldn't help but notice the tension lately. I'm sorry if we've been disturbing you. Actually, we wanted you to know we support you, Margaret said quietly. Tom nodded. We've seen Michael coming and going at odd hours for months. And that woman who's been here lately. Lisa. We didn't want to get involved, but Margaret insisted we say something after what happened yesterday. What happened yesterday? Margaret looked uncomfortable. The shouting match in your backyard. The whole neighborhood heard her threatening you. I hadn't realized how loud Lisa had gotten when I'd told them to leave. We called the police, Tom admitted. Just to have it on record. In case you need documentation later. Thank you. Sarah. Margaret touched my arm. You're doing the right thing. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Saturday morning, I woke up to silence. Real silence, for the first time in months. No Michael pretending to be sick. No Lisa calling with innocent questions about my marriage. No lies to navigate or deceptions to uncover. I made coffee and sat on my back porch, watching the sunrise. The doorbell camera sent me a notification, a delivery truck approaching. I'd forgotten about the new furniture I'd ordered for the guest room. My room now. The delivery men were professional and efficient. They didn't ask why a woman was replacing the furniture in what was obviously the master bedroom. They just delivered, assembled, and left. By afternoon, I had a completely new bedroom. New bed, new dresser, new everything. The old furniture would go to charity. Let someone else build fresh memories with it. My phone rang. Michael's number appeared on the screen. I let it go to voicemail. The message was 17 minutes long. A rambling monologue about mistakes and forgiveness and second chances. How Lisa had realized she'd made an error in judgment. How they could both see now that what they had wasn't real love, just emotional confusion. I deleted it without listening to the end. Sunday brought another doorbell notification. This time it was Michael alone, carrying a suitcase and looking defeated. He pressed the button. Sarah, I know you're watching. Please, let me come home. I opened the two-way audio feature. This isn't your home anymore. Sarah, please. I've ended things with Lisa. Completely. It's over. Good for you. Can we talk? Face to face. We are talking. You know what I mean. Let me in. 5 minutes. I considered this. 5 minutes to hear what justification he'd crafted now. You have 5 minutes. Then you leave. I opened the door. Michael looked genuinely awful, unshaven, wrinkled clothes, dark circles under his eyes. Thank you. We stood in the entryway. I didn't invite him further in. I made a terrible mistake, Sarah. The worst mistake of my life. Which one? Cheating on me, lying to me, or trying to convince me to accept your girlfriend as a permanent fixture. All of it. I wasn't thinking clearly. For 3 months. I was confused. Lisa made me feel different. Different how? Younger, I guess. Like the man I used to be before we got bogged down in bills and responsibilities and routine. So this is my fault for having a mortgage and children. No, that's not what I meant. Then what did you mean, Michael? He ran his hands through his hair. I meant I forgot what we had. What we built together. Lisa was just escape, fantasy. And now I see it was all fake. She doesn't really know me. Not like you do. I don't know you either, apparently. The Michael I knew wouldn't lie to my face for months. I can earn your trust back. How? However long it takes. Whatever you need. I looked at this man I'd shared 8 years with, standing in our entryway like a stranger begging for charity. I need you to understand something, Michael. This isn't about trust. Trust can be rebuilt. This is about respect. I respect you. No, you don't. You never did. If you respected me, you wouldn't have cheated. If you respected me, you wouldn't have lied. If you respected me, you wouldn't have tried to manipulate me into accepting your affair. I was desperate. And I'm done. Sarah, please. Don't give up on us. I'm not giving up on us. There is no us. There's you, making choices that benefit you. And there's me, finally making choices that benefit me. What about the kids? What about them? They deserve parents who model healthy relationships, not parents who teach them that love means accepting lies and disrespect. Michael's shoulders sagged. So that's it? 8 years and you're just done. I was done the moment I saw that video. Everything since then has just been confirmation. He picked up his suitcase. I'll be at the extended stay on 5th Street. When you change your mind, I won't. When you change your mind, he continued, call me. Day or night. After he left, I engaged all the locks and sat down to write a list. Things I wanted to do now that I wasn't planning around someone else's lies. Places I wanted to travel without worrying about mysterious illnesses. Goals I'd put aside to support a marriage that was built on deception. The list filled 3 pages. Monday morning brought a call from Jennifer Walsh, my lawyer. Sarah, I've reviewed all the documentation you provided. The video evidence, the financial records, the text messages. We have a very strong case. What can I expect? Given that you were the primary income earner and that there's clear evidence of adultery and financial deception, you should retain most of your assets. The house, your retirement accounts, primary custody of the children. And Michael. He'll be responsible for his own debts and legal fees. If he wants visitation rights, he'll need to demonstrate stability. How long will this take? In Texas, with this level of documentation? 6 months, maybe less. Tuesday brought an interesting phone call. Lisa's number appeared on my screen. Against my better judgment, I answered. Sarah, we need to talk. No, we don't. Please. Just listen. Michael is falling apart. He hasn't eaten in days. He's not sleeping. That's not my problem anymore. You're destroying him. I'm not doing anything to him. I'm simply refusing to enable his behavior anymore. He made a mistake. Lisa, why are you calling me? Shouldn't you be comforting him? Silence stretched across the line. Lisa? He doesn't want to see me anymore. Ah. So now that Michael's facing consequences, the affair doesn't seem so appealing? It's not like that. What is it like? He says he never loved me, that it was just a physical thing. And you believed it was more? I thought he was going to leave you for me. The delusion was breathtaking. Lisa, Michael was never going to leave me. He wanted to keep both of us. When that became impossible, he chose the path of least resistance. But he chose you. He didn't choose me. He chose financial security and social respectability. If I were a broke waitress, he'd be planning a future with you right now. Another long silence. Sarah, I'm sorry. I really am. For which part? Sleeping with my husband or lying to my face for months? All of it. I was jealous, okay? You had everything I wanted. The house, the stability, the husband who came home every night. The husband who came home every night was sleeping with you twice a week. I know how it sounds. It sounds like you destroyed your friendship and my marriage for a man who never had any intention of choosing you. I know. Lisa, I need you to understand something. This friendship is over. Not because of Michael, but because of who you turned out to be. I can forgive adultery eventually. But I can't forgive calculated betrayal by someone I trusted. I understand. Good. Don't call me again. Wednesday brought a knock at my door from an unexpected source. Patrick O'Connor, the priest from St. Matthew's where Michael's family attended church. Mrs. Mitchell, I hope you don't mind the intrusion. Father O'Connor. Please, come in. We sat in my living room. He looked uncomfortable with whatever mission had brought him here. I understand you and Michael are having difficulties. That's one way to put it. Mrs. Mitchell, I believe in the sanctity of marriage. But I also believe in truth and accountability. This wasn't the conversation I'd expected. I'm not sure I follow. Michael came to see me yesterday. He wanted me to speak with you about forgiveness and reconciliation. And I told him that forgiveness doesn't mean accepting continued deception. That reconciliation requires genuine repentance, not just fear of consequences. I stared at this elderly priest who just validated everything I'd been feeling. Thank you, Mrs. Mitchell, you have every right to protect yourself and your children from further harm. Don't let anyone, including members of my congregation, tell you otherwise. Did you tell Michael that? I told Michael that if he wanted to save his marriage, he needed to start by being honest with himself about why he destroyed it. How did he respond? He asked me to pray for him. I told him to pray for you instead. Thursday brought the papers. Official divorce documents, filed and served. Michael signed for them at his hotel, according to the process server. My phone rang 20 minutes later. Sarah, you actually filed? Yes, but we haven't even tried counseling. Michael, you tried to convince me to accept your girlfriend as a permanent addition to our marriage. What counselor is going to work with that? I was confused. I was desperate. You were selfish. So that's it? No second chances? You had second chances. Every day for 3 months when you could have ended the affair and told me the truth. I was scared. Of what? Of losing you. So you decided to risk losing me by lying instead. I thought I could figure it out. Make it work somehow. By having us both. I don't know what I was thinking. That's the problem, Michael. You weren't thinking about anyone but yourself. Friday brought closure from an unexpected source. Margaret Johnson knocked on my door with a plate of cookies and a sympathetic smile. How are you holding up, dear? Better than expected, actually. Good. You know, Tom and I have been married 37 years. Congratulations. We've had our rough patches. But you know what we learned? Some problems can be worked through, and some problems are deal breakers. Which category does adultery fall into? That depends on the person. But calculated deception? That's always a deal breaker. What's the difference? Adultery can be a moment of weakness, but carrying on an affair for months, lying about it, and then trying to manipulate you into accepting it, that's not weakness. That's character. Saturday morning, I woke up in my new bedroom and realized something had changed. The constant knot in my stomach was gone. The hypervigilance, the second-guessing, the exhaustion of trying to decode lies, all of it had disappeared. I was free. Not just free from Michael, but free from the person I'd become in that marriage. The woman who accepted excuses, who made herself smaller to accommodate his comfort, who ignored red flags because confronting them was inconvenient. I made coffee and sat on my back porch, watching the sunrise. The doorbell camera was silent. No unexpected visitors, no manipulation attempts, no crisis management required. Just peace. My phone buzzed with a text from Michael. "I understand you need space. I'll be here when you're ready to talk." I deleted it without responding. Sunday brought an interesting realization. For the first time in months, I had nowhere to be and nothing to prove. The kids would return from their grandmother's house this afternoon, and I could be completely present for them. No distractions, no emotional juggling, no pretending everything was fine. I spent the morning gardening, something I'd abandoned when life became too complicated for hobbies. My hands in the soil, the sun on my back, the simple satisfaction of nurturing something beautiful. When the kids arrived home, they found me dirty and happy, replanting the flower bed Michael had never liked. "Mom, you look different," my daughter Emma observed. "Different how?" "Relaxed. Smart kid." Over dinner, I explained that their father and I were getting divorced. Not because we didn't love them, but because sometimes adults make choices that change everything. "Will we still see Dad?" my son Jake asked. "Of course. He's still your father. This is between him and me. Are you sad?" I considered the question seriously. I was sad. Now I'm mostly relieved. Relieved? Sometimes when something broken finally gets fixed, relief is stronger than sadness. That evening, after the kids were asleep, I sat in my living room and looked around. This house, this life, these choices, they were all mine now. No compromises, no negotiations, no accommodating someone else's lies. Tomorrow I would start making plans. Real plans, based on what I actually wanted instead of what worked around someone else's deception. My phone sat silent on the coffee table. No crisis texts, no manipulation attempts, no emergencies requiring my immediate attention. The doorbell camera showed an empty porch and a quiet street. For the first time in years, my life was exactly what it appeared to be. Honest, straightforward, and completely under my control. The irony of Michael's security system wasn't lost on me. He'd installed cameras to watch our house, never realizing that the most dangerous threat to our family was already inside, lying in our bed, planning his next deception. But the cameras had served their purpose, just not the one he'd intended. They'd shown me the truth. And sometimes, the truth is the most valuable security system of all. I picked up my laptop and opened a new document. Post-divorce goals, I typed at the top. The cursor blinked on the empty page, waiting. I began to type.